Hello, and welcome back to What We Have in Common. I'm Darren Hamilton. Let me start with a question. Who is the largest political group in America? Republicans? Democrats? Swifties? People who pretend to understand cryptocurrency? No. Increasingly, the largest political group in America is people who look at politics and say, can I get a third option, or a fourth, or literally anything that doesn't feel like choosing between two airline companies actively trying to lose my luggage? Because here's one of the strangest facts in modern politics. The people who dominate our political conversation are not necessarily the people who make up most of the country. In fact, some of the loudest political voices represent surprisingly small slice of the population, which explains a lot. Because if social media accurately reflected America, we'd all be in blood feuds with our neighbors, and every city council meeting would end up with somebody challenging the zoning board to single combat. Instead, most Americans are normal. I know it's disappointing. Television has spent years, decades, convincing us that half of the country is plotting the downfall of civilization, while the other half is actively assisting. But when you actually meet people, most are just trying to survive inflation, raise families, pay mortgages, find decent health care, and make it through Thanksgiving without having to explain to Uncle Larry again why memes are not peer-reviewed research. Most people are not ideological warriors. They're exhausted customers trapped in a political system that keeps insisting that the problem is the other customers. And that's where things get interesting, because America has developed a growing population of political nomads, people who don't fit neatly into either tribe: independents, third-party voters, disillusioned former Democrats, disillusioned former Republicans, people who vote sometimes, people who skip elections, people who still care deeply about the country but no longer recognize themselves in the political products that are being advertised or sold. And notice something else that's important. Politically homeless people aren't necessarily moderate. That's a common misconception. Some are more conservative than Republicans. Some are more progressive than Democrats. Some are Libertarians. Some are independent. Some are tired of simply being told that every issue comes prepackaged with a team jersey. The common denominator here isn't ideology, it's alienation. They're not politically homeless because they don't believe in anything. They're politically homeless because they believe in those things that neither party seems interested in delivering anymore. And if you think about it, that's not surprising, because both parties increasingly operate like streaming services. They spend enormous amounts of money acquiring subscribers and almost no time improving the actual product. Every election cycle comes with a new marketing campaign, new branding, new slogans, new villains, new heroes. The political equivalent of releasing Groundhog Day every 2 years and acting shocked when audiences start losing enthusiasm. Meanwhile, millions of Americans are sitting there asking, could somebody maybe fix the roads? And the answer is usually, best I can do is another culture war. Now, as a Libertarian candidate, I get asked a version of the same question all the time. Darren, why don't more people vote Libertarian? And honestly, I think that's the wrong question. I think a better question is, why are so many people dissatisfied with the choices that they're being given in the first place? Because third parties don't exist because voters are confused. Third parties exist because voters are unconvinced. There's a difference. People don't walk away from a major party because they suddenly stopped caring. Most walk away because they cared enough to become disappointed. They believed the promises. They trusted the institutions. They supported the candidates, and after enough election cycles, they just started noticing a pattern. The rhetoric changes, the branding changes, the fundraising emails definitely change, but the incentives often stay remarkably similar. It's like watching two fast food chains spend billions of dollars arguing over whose mascot is better, while both keep serving the same suspiciously lukewarm fries. And yet, despite all of this, we're constantly told that political homelessness, like physical homelessness, is somehow abnormal. That if you don't feel represented by either major party, that the problem must be you. That you're confused, you're unrealistic, you're wasting your vote, you're helping the other side, you're not being practical. Which is unusual to me because the people selling the product always seem to be blaming the customer for not buying their product. Imagine walking into a restaurant. The food is terrible, the service is terrible, the prices keep going up, and when you complain, the manager says, no, see, your mistake was expecting alternatives. That would be insane, and yet somehow that's become the accepted argument in American politics. We're being sold a bill of goods describing a system that leaves millions of people feeling unrepresented as proof of stability? I would argue that it's evidence of market demand, because political homelessness isn't a fringe phenomenon anymore. It's becoming a defining feature of modern American politics. And that should concern everyone. Republicans should care, Democrats should care, Libertarians should care, because a healthy democracy doesn't force people into political identities that they don't recognize. A healthy democracy competes for their support. A healthy democracy persuades. A healthy democracy earns trust. And when millions of people stop feeling represented, the logical solution is not to shame them back into line. The logical solution is to ask why. Why are they leaving? Why are they disengaging? Why do they feel politically homeless? Because like the old parties, if we don't understand that question, we're going to keep misdiagnosing the problem. The problem isn't that Americans care too little. The problem is that many Americans no longer believe that the institutions asking for their support are even listening anymore. And once people stop believing that they're being heard, they stop believing that participation matters. That's the real danger. Not the disagreement, not the competition, not third parties, not independents. The real danger is a political system becoming so comfortable with its customers that it forgets that it still has to earn their business. Because the moment politicians stop competing for voters, they start managing them. And over the next several episodes, we're going to explore exactly why so many Americans have decided that they're no longer satisfied with the choices that they've been given. Because if the largest political group in America is indeed the politically homeless, maybe it's time somebody started listening to them.